welcome to the RIA building and to our third Culture Change Exchange. So welcome from RIA and welcome from the Schlegel Center for Learning, Research and Innovation. It's an honor to host you here today. We did ask everyone before you came this morning why you are attending the Culture Change Exchange. And because we always want to design these sessions to address your reasons for wanting to be here. And the main thing we heard was that people are very interested in learning from others. They're very interested in ideas about starting a culture change journey in your own organizations. And you're very interested about expanding your culture change activities and learning more about things that you can do. And the fourth thing we hear is you come to be inspired. You come to be rejuvenated for your culture change journeys in your home. So we have taken that feedback and put that into our agenda for today. And we're really pleased to have what we think is an exciting agenda to share with you today. And we call it an exchange for a reason, and that reason is we are learning from each other and really welcome and invite and promote ongoing communication throughout the day. So please do participate actively, both online and folks who are in the room. There is a chat box opportunity, and we have someone monitoring the questions that are coming in online as well. So, I just want to set the stage very briefly for you this morning. And I'm Josie. I don't think I introduced myself, did I? I'm the Executive Director of the Schlegel-UW Research Institute for Aging. And so, what is culture change? And I would say, in its most general terms, it is shifting from an institutional model of care to a social model of living. And it sounds straightforward, and it is a straightforward objective, but it's a very complex one to achieve. And so it's a shift from providing care to supporting living. And it's not that excellent care isn't important, because it is very important, but it shouldn't be the central focus, or it shouldn't be the only focus of how we provide care and services in long-term care. Putting living first should be the central focus. So at the start of our culture change journey at Schlegel Villages and the RIA back in 2009, we realized we weren't doing that in many areas. We were not putting living first in the way we were organized at Schlegel Villages. And this is typical, I think, of long-term care homes in Ontario and across the world. We were rotating staff rather than assigning staff to the same residents. How many still do that? Okay, some still do. We were treating environments as our workplace, where residents happen to live, rather than as a resident's home that we happen to live in. We were taking away choices out of an over-concern for safety. No, you can't have that. It's not good for you. No, you can't do that because you might burn yourself, or you might cut yourself, or you might fall. And we were making those choices for residents rather than giving residents the freedom to make those choices. We were forgetting that risk is a normal part of life, and our concern for safety and for covering our butts, frankly, overrode that. So we became focused on routines of providing care and keeping people safe. Does that sound familiar to people? Yeah. So we wanted to move away from that focus to putting living first, and that's why we call our journey Working Together to Put Living First. And when we first started thinking about culture change and learning from people like Barry Barkin, Bill Thomas, Rosemary Fagan, Al Power, who's here today, Daniela Greenwood, who's here today, both of whom you'll hear for, these are pioneers of culture change. We learned a lot of things in our early year of learning, and I want to highlight two very important ones. One is that culture change needs to happen at multiple levels simultaneously. It needs to happen at a personal level in terms of my own attitudes and opinions. It needs to happen at an organizational level. And it needs to happen at a societal level because our society even promotes ageism. And so we need transformation at that level as well. The second thing we learned is that it takes supportive physical environments to do effective culture change. Not that we have to change everything about the way our physical environments are designed, because there is obviously monetary restrictions on what you can and can't do, but there are things that organizations can do in terms of physical environments. In this long-term care home on site here in the Schlegel Center of Excellence, we still have traditional 32 resident neighborhoods, which are quite typical across the province. But we have built an open concept servery in 2 of the neighborhoods that allows meals to be prepared on the neighborhood, and it allows residents to be more actively engaged in meal preparation and setting tables and meal service. We've made the nursing stations more open, a lower counter more open, so they are more inviting to residents and team members, and it removes some of that barrier. We've created a Main Street design that invites people from their neighborhoods to come to more central areas for activities, for social interaction, and those sorts of things, and for the community as well to come in and enjoy time with the residents and activities within the village. We've developed some new staffing models. At the last Culture Change Exchange, we talked a lot about our neighborhood team development and neighborhood coordinator role. And there was lots of interest in that and lots of follow-up. So those kinds of things are important for culture change. It takes leadership as well to transform culture. And it takes vocabulary change. And again, that's something we have heard about before in previous culture change exchanges, and you'll hear more about today.